So, you've got a Shopify store, right? And you're trying to figure out how to find more customers. Well, today, we're going to break down a super powerful tool that can put your products right in front of people the very moment they're looking to buy. This is your 5-step blueprint for getting started with Google Ads.
I mean, that's just the perfect way to put it, isn't it? This isn't about shouting into the void and hoping someone hears you. No, this is about precision. It's about showing up at that exact magical moment when a potential customer types something into Google and you're right there. That's the power we're going to learn how to tap into.
Okay, let's get into it. We've got a pretty clear roadmap ahead of us. First, we'll talk about the big picture, that spotlight idea. Then, we'll get your store all set up on the technical side. After that, the fun part, crafting an ad that actually works. Then we'll tackle money, how to spend smart, and finally, how to measure, tweak, and grow. So, let's kick things off with step 1.
Okay, so first up, that spotlight idea. Why does this even matter for your store? Well, it's pretty simple, really. Google gives you access to literally billions of potential customers. Your ad isn't just an ad, it's like a direct line to someone who has just raised their hand and said, "Hey, I'm interested in buying something just like this."
Now for the next piece of the puzzle, getting your store ready. Before we can fire up that spotlight, we got to make sure it's actually plugged in, right? This is the technical setup part. And don't worry, it's all about just connecting the dots between your Shopify store and Google. Okay, I know what you're thinking. A list of steps looks technical. But honestly, the best part is that Shopify pretty much holds your hand through this whole thing. You just install the app from your admin, connect your accounts, and sync your products. The system does all the heavy lifting. Just, be a little patient. Product approval can sometimes take a few days. All right, with all that technical stuff cooking in the background, now we get to the fun part, actually building the ad that's going to catch your customer's eye and earn that super important click. This is so true. Think about it. People are scrolling and searching like crazy. Your ad has a literal split second to make an impression. Every single word you choose has to work incredibly hard to stop them in their tracks and get them interested. So how do you make sure you show up at just the right moment? Well, it all comes down to keywords. These are the absolute building blocks of your campaign. So if you sell gourmet hot sauce, your keywords might be something like mild hot sauce or hot sauce gift set. You really have to think about what someone would type if they were ready to buy. Hot sauce gift set shows way more intent to buy than just what is hot sauce, right? A fantastic free tool to get started with this is Google's own keyword planner. Now this is huge, so listen up. You can't just tell people what your product is. You have to tell them what it's going to do for them. All natural ingredients, well, that's a feature. It's a fact. But spice up your meals without overwhelming heat? Now that's a benefit. See the difference? You're selling an experience, not just a list of ingredients. Okay, so when you put it all together, it looks something like this. Your headline has to be the attention grabber. If you have a sale, shout it out. The ad copy is your pitch, and it's all about those benefits we just talked about. And finally, your call to action, where CTA leaves zero room for confusion. You tell them exactly what to do next. Shop now. Okay, on to section 4, spending smart. We've built the ad, which brings us to the question that's on every single business owner's mind: what's this going to cost me? So let's demystify the budget and talk about how you can spend your money wisely. Look, you can start with just a few bucks a day, technically. But if you really want to see what's working and get some real data to make decisions with, most experts suggest a starting point of around $1,000 a month. That's a realistic place to begin. But here's the key thing to remember. That number isn't some hard and fast rule. Think of it as your launch pad. The goal isn't just to spend money, it's to invest it. You start with a budget that lets you learn, and then, as you find out which ads are actually working and bringing in sales, you can confidently start spending more. And that, leads us perfectly into our last step, which is honestly maybe the most important one of all: measure, tweak, and grow. See, launching the ad is just the beginning. The real growth happens when you start optimizing for success by measuring what's working, tweaking what isn't, and just constantly getting better. Exactly. It's one thing to have your ads running, but are they actually doing anything? Are they moving the needle for your business? To figure that out, you've got to look at the data. So think of this as your ads report card. And honestly, you can ignore almost everything else at the start and just focus on these 3 things. Your click-through rate, or CTR, tells you if your ad is interesting enough to click. Your conversion rate tells you if your website is doing its job and closing the sale. And then there's ROAS, return on ad spend. That's the bottom line. It answers the big question: for every dollar I put in, how many dollars am I getting back? And I gotta tell you, this is not a set it and forget it kind of deal. Not at all. The best advertisers are always testing. Always. They're trying out different headlines, new audiences, adjusting budgets based on that report card. It's this continuous loop of learning and refining until you find what really works for you.
All right, so let's boil this whole thing down. What's the blueprint? Connect your store. Write ads that sell benefits, not features. Start with a smart budget you can scale. Watch your report card, your CTR, conversion rate, and ROAS like a hawk. And never, ever stop testing. That's it. That's the path to growing your Shopify store with Google Ads.
And that really brings us to the last thing I want to leave you with. Don't just file this away as good info. Actually do it. Take a look at your best-selling product right now and just ask yourself, what's the very first headline I'm going to test to get that spotlight shining right on it?